Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight on this lovely Monday in the month of June. Over the weekend have been a rainy weekend, but nevertheless, we thank God for no big damages in Trinidad and Tobago thus far. So as we start up our program tonight, viewers, remember to go onto our Facebook account, type in Real Talk with Saieed Ali, share our live stream, even on YouTube, TT Real Talk, subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So viewers, I always encourage you every night to share our live stream. Our live stream is important to us, and it is also important to you, the viewers, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, those of the Caribbean and around the globe. It is important. Why am I saying it is important? Because we give you updates throughout the course of the day on our page. So whether you're in Trinidad or you're out of Trinidad, and you link on to the Real Talk page, it will give you updates of what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. So viewers, share your live stream. Some of you all are cooking in the kitchen. Some of you all are outside sitting on the porch and cannot reach your television, or you don't have cable. You will be able to see us live on Facebook or YouTube also. So share our stream, viewers. As we start off our program tonight, viewers, just a little update on the Ministry of Works and Transport. According to a new advisory from the Ministry of Works and Transport, there has been another extension to the new regulations of the windscreen and window tint. This time to December 31st, 2021. The Ministry explains that the extension was necessary due to the current COVID-19 public health regulations and restrictions which limit the movements of people or persons or vehicles, and the closure of the non-essential business such as tint shops and auto garages. The extension has granted an additional period of approximately 7 months with effect from June 6, 2021 and expires on December 31st, 2021. It is now anticipated that the further extension will permit owners of motor vehicle to be compliant with the new tint law before it is fully operationalized. So hopefully from January 1st, 2022, the new tint regulation will be effective in Trinidad and Tobago. We have gotten at least 6 or 7 months extension. So those of you who haven't checked your tinters yet, we still have 6 or 7 months to do that. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sayeed.
My dear, go right ahead.
This man they call Dial Singh have no shame, eh? Last year, people, business closed down, airport closed down. All about closed down, Mr. Sayeed. And this shameless man, Dial Singh, gone on the TV to praise Rowley and say we own none of them, Mr. Saieed Ali. We work and pay, we tax, we paying Dial Singh, we paying all of them, and all of them happy and dandy, and they want to come and say we have to praise Rowley. Praise he for what? Good night, Mr. Sayeed.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, I want you all to understand something. The government or the present administration that governs Trinidad and Tobago presently, they are working for us, the people. It's our tax-paying dollars that we pay tax. We contribute to the tax system in Trinidad and Tobago. That pays the government salary. That pays the government workers' salary. It also keeps Trinidad and Tobago afloat with construction. So don't ever let a minister come out and tell you that you all should thank them. The ministers should thank you, the citizen, for giving them the opportunity to live a healthy lifestyle. That is what they should be thanking you for. You see, the administrations, past, present, and future, they have to understand without the people, they are nothing. What was Dial Singh before he became a minister? What was the Prime Minister before he became a minister? What was the Attorney General before he became a minister? What was Fitzgerald Hines before he became a minister? They are normal citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. It's just that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, decide to give them an opportunity to run Trinidad. That is how they are in possession of a title that called a minister. So don't let no ministers come out and fool you and tell you, well, hey, it's a good thing for we, or they have this, and it's because the act of diplomacy. No. I am proud to say that tonight, that the government have to work for you. I am proud to say that tonight. And Avery Hines and Terence Dial sings with this diplomacy kind of, no, that's crap. That is crap. They're working for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So don't let no ministers come out and fool you all until you all thinking that, thank God for we, you all get the vaccine. No! We would thank God if you step down from your position if you're not doing the job. And it's simple like that. Caller, good night.
Very good evening to you, Mr. Saieed.
To you, my friend.
Just a few minutes ago on national news, it was said that the P1 variant, the Brazilian variant, is the most prominent strain in the country. They was also admitted that, yes, it came in via illegal immigrant. Right? So like I was telling you the other day, it's just a matter of time before the Indian variant entered the country and devastated this country, because they say only the essentials must remain open. I wonder if the essentials remaining open includes that porous border in South. Is it essential that that border remain open? What is the Minister of National Security doing? Having identified that over 15 beaches he know of, that where they're coming in and nothing has been done. All the best side. Have a good evening.
Thank you, my friend. So as we move on tonight, viewers, Trinidad and Tobago will soon be put on one of the United Kingdom traveling list of countries. Travelers entering there will have to undergo a mandatory 10-day quarantine. So the United Kingdom have placed us on that list. The country is now on the amber list. Vaccinated travelers to the UK from any amber country or territory must follow certain rules 10 days before getting there. However, the UK Travel Department said TNT will move to the red list on June 8th. So do you know what's the red list? The red list is the past stop to you. The past stop to you. So just imagine, the UK put a halt to us from entering the UK. 2386716. Let me hear what you have to say. So viewers, today we decided to contact Mr. Rajiv Dipti. And we just want to find out of what is taking place with the supermarket associations on the highlights of the protocols, when their 30,000 staff will be vaccinated. So I believe we have on the line tonight is the president of the Supermarket Association, Mr. Rajiv Dipti. Good night, sir.
Good night, Saieed. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. I can offer you an update, Saieed, on what we're doing right now, and if you allow me, I'll just get right into it. At the moment, you would have heard that the Minister of Health announced on Saturday that we have set up a mass vaccination site. I can tell you that that is located at Center Point Mall in Chaguanas. Now, we've been working in the background to try to improve vaccine hesitancy, but as we saw with what the TTMA did on Sunday at the Diwali Nagar, there was quite a flock from the members of public for the vaccine. So I think people are starting to take note of the deaths, the urgency in cases, the severity of how the virus has affected them, their livelihoods. You know, so we've seen increases in the number of registration, particularly today. In fact, we just hit full subscription, so we've had to lock off there. We've been constantly in talks with the Ministry of Health to keep these activated sites going, because we feel it's very important, not just for supermarket workers, but we also advocating for some of the healthcare workers, including the pharmacists,
yes,
and the farm techs. We really try to pull in them under the umbrella. We've also been speaking to them about doing the gas station, because we feel that segment is terribly underrepresented. They're handling money all the time. They're in the face of things.
Correct.
So we're also working with so many people, but the reality is there needs to be a volume of vaccines in the country for these mass vaccine initiatives to work. So, based on what we've been hearing, I think there's a couple 100,000 sign out to land on Thursday. So
yes,
certainly we're urging them to use all these things as first doses to give people a level of protection. We'll see how the allocation goes. With respect to the curfew and the hours in the month of June, when we see Friday to Sunday rolling back from 9 p.m. to 7 p.m., that will just mean that we close our doors earlier, and we will make arrangements for staff to get home. And I think that the public could be sensible enough to arrange their shopping around these hours. As it stands, we are hoping to keep the mass vax going. It's something we've been advocating for, Saeed, as you know very well. And while it might not be an ideal situation for everyone, it's still a step in the right direction.
Now, I see the Prime Minister, even though the Health Minister and all saying that there is no private sector involved in getting vaccine. Now, what is the latest word between your administration and the health administration concerning allowing the private sector to purchase the vaccine?
Well, that has always been a very loaded powder keg, precisely because of the fact and the narrative that is always the acquisition of vaccines is a sovereign-to-sovereign transaction. And based on that narrative, it doesn't really allow the private sector to get involved, even though we've heard about Pfizer in the country. I want to see people say more than hearsay. If you know something, at least corroborate it. That's all I really want to.
Yes.
It's easy to jump out and say something. But I mean, at the end of the day, we put forward a couple opportunities for the government to see our supply chain for any proposals that we fleshed out. Because I want the public to know we fleshed out an 82-page document called a deployment plan. It was extremely well thought out. We put forward a supply chain that we considered a live option for acquisition. At the end of the day, these things are time sensitive. If they're not acted on, they disappear.
Yes.
So from that point of view, we view the narrative that is sovereign to sovereign, and we've seen the Prime Minister announce 800,000 J&J coming in here in August.
Yes.
So I believe that that the narrative is government to government, and even though we're hearing private sector can involve themselves, it's not something that's really being considered as a live option.
Mr. Rajiv, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, but is there anything you would like to tell the public?
I mean, at this time, we see the public overwhelmingly, jumping out to us for vaccination. Just be patient. Promise you, we're trying to do our best. We've always been doing our best. It's all about the front lines and the shelf workers, the lane workers, the cashiers, the warehouse people. Let's really just pull together and stay safe, guys. We'll get through this.
Mr. Rajiv, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight and giving us a live update of what is taking place with the organization and the vaccine side concerning the workers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So viewers, he gave us an update. Their location at Mid-Center Mall. That's for the workers of the Supermarket Association. That's their vaccine side. So we're moving on tonight. UNC. Calls are being made for an independent/public audit of the hampers distribution being done by the government following allegations of corruption. President of the Agricultural Society of Trinidad and Tobago, Darrell Rampasad, stated that he had received reports from various farming communities that only a handful of farmers were being allowed to supply Namdevco with fresh produce for its food hamper program. He claims that certain persons were operating as middlemen, buying produce cheaply from farmers and selling the same produce to Namdevco at price that were higher. However, chairman of the Namdevco, Wayne Innings, denied that they were taking produce only from selected farmers for the $10 million food hamper that are being distributed to 25,000 families for May to July. So viewers, we have on the line tonight Minister Clarence Rambarat to clear up some of those this say and them say that have been taking place in the public domain. Mr. Clarence, good night to you, my friend.
Good night, Saeed, and good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
I do thank you for joining us. I know you had a virtual meeting in the Parliament. I hope it was successful, and thank you for joining us.
It's going on, and I have not appeared as yet. I'll appear shortly, but I took the time to talk to you. The same matter, because what I am in Parliament for, before the Standing Finance Committee, which is the committee that goes through the mid-year reallocation before it is put to debate in the House on Wednesday and in the Senate on Friday. And I am before the committee because the Minister of Finance has recommended that an allocation of $5 million for COVID relief be increased from 5 to 62 million. That is the addition of 57 million. And that 57 million is what we will use to continue this food basket program for the months of May, June, July, August, and September 2021. And over those 5 months, that would benefit a minimum of 125,000 families in the country. So far, we've completed the month of May. We've successfully delivered to 25 and more, a little more than 25,000 families through the 41 MPs. And we did an additional program that benefited 9,815 families, and that is through the 151 councillors and Tobago assemblymen. We distributed 2 chickens to families elected by the councillors and assemblymen, and that impacted 9,815 families. So for the month of May, I would say that we impacted close to 35,000 families. We have used, in 2020, when we had a similar program, we used 76 farmers. This time, as it is now, we are using 159 farmers. We've been able to double. And I estimate over the 5-month period, we would put in the pockets of farmers across the country about $35 million. Some of those farmers will earn $600,000 over the 5-month period, and on average, farmers would earn close to $100,000 in the 5-month period. Having said all of that, I expect to deliver this program with some savings, and the savings will be used to fund additional packages for NGOs and individuals who we identify are in need. You know, the MPs cannot reach all of them. They would like to, and we've made allocation to do that. And I think by the end of September, the same program with the councillors, with the 2 chickens, from next week when we do the second run of that, I propose to add frozen, peeled and frozen provision packages to it, and I propose to continue that to the end of September, and that will impact in all 50,000. So 125,000 families through the 41 MPs, 50,000 through the councillors, that is 175,000 families, and an additional 15,000 I expect to be impacted through the NGOs and through the individuals. And we're doing this by careful management. I really want to get to about 200 farmers in the program. I encourage farmers who have produce that they want to sell into the program to contact NAMDEFCO. If you're not getting through, send me a message on Facebook or ask Saeed to pass the message on to me. I think this is an excellent program. There's been a lot of noise about it, but a lot of that is nonsense, and I am appearing before the committee, as I say, shortly, and I would explain and give all MPs in the country the opportunity to ask me questions on the program.
So far, right, the talk that have been going around, according to the Agriculture Society of Trinidad and Tobago, Darrell Rampersad, he stated that there's only a handful of farmers that have been selected.
That is why I said, Saeed, I don't know Darrell or whatever his name is must have some real big hands, because you're talking about 159 farmers. There is no handful. Last year it was 76 farmers and nobody was complaining, because last year there's one farmer who is disgruntled, because last year when we had the program, we only did about 30,000 families last year, but that farmer was able to earn about $400,000 in the program. He supplied sweet potato. Right now we have 14 farmers supplying sweet potatoes, so he doesn't get all the sweet potatoes to supply. It has to share around. Still, in the first 18 days of the program, he earned $65,000, and he will continue to earn, but we're sharing it around. So what we're doing is the opposite of what Rampersad is saying. Rampersad is saying a few getting it, and what the farmer is complaining about is that it's spreading around to other people, and that is what we want to do. This is a stimulus. This is an incentive to farmers. This is to help boost the farmers and also relieve the families, and it has to be shared across the country.
Now, Mr. Rampersad, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, just to clear up that mishap that have been in the public domain, and I wish you all could continue.
Saeed, I just want to say this, in my response to MP Tanku, I said, because he talked about corruption and thieving and so on, but I just want to say that in the first month, I am 20% or more below the estimated cost. In other words, I've spent much less than I was authorized to spend. So it's not a matter of thieving. If you're thieving, you're not going to try to save money. You're going to try. The reason we're managing the expenses is because we know that there's going to be uncertainty with the weather and all of that. But if we manage it, we'll be able to impact more farmers. So the savings from May is what I'm going to use to extend the program for the councillors, because councillors have families that they could support, and that alone will reach 50,000 families. And if we say more, the NGOs, I estimate that over the remaining 4 months, we could spend about 3.6 million on the NGOs. That's about 900,000 a month, and we impact about, as I said, another 16,000 families. And to be able to spend $900,000 a month, I have to manage the program, save $900,000, and spend it elsewhere in the program.
Well, that is really good. To save some from May, you save some June, you save some July.
Every month.
The program will extend.
Of course, and now we go in, some of the savings going into this frozen. So what we're doing now is, because we have the savings and we have sweet potatoes and we have a lot of cassava available and we have plantain available, because of the rainy period, I don't want to be in a position where we're struggling, and that is why I'm buying up the excess, peeling, packaging, and freezing, so that we have, and we're gonna put it out there. We're gonna put it out there, but we're also gonna keep some and manage it, and that's what we're going to do. The same farmer with the sweet potato, as a matter of fact, you would not believe that. From the time he mentioned he had 15,000 pounds available, I said to NAMDEFCO, we should take it. And because I always had in mind the program to peel and freeze, so that you're guaranteed you have something in the worst case scenario to give to the families in the country.
Mr. Rampersad, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight to clear up all that, and even to add into what answer to Tanko, what he said. And now this is something new that the public have learned tonight, is that the savings that they are saving, they are also going to extend it
to
others.
Saeed, look, like even today, as I announced publicly, I said I get messages on Facebook, on Messenger from individuals who have problems reaching the MP or whatever. And every time we have extra, every day when we have extra produce, we put it together, we give to the NGOs, and I myself asked my driver to take it to particular. Today, a fellow, a hearing impaired man in Arima. We have the Blind Welfare Association, the individuals and people who the MPs may not reach, they reach me, and I could tell you with certainty, Said, every single message I've gotten from a family on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever, they have received a package from NAMDEVCO because I have made sure that it has happened.
Mr. I do want to thank you. If you have extras, you could always drop it down to Real Talk Studios, a little 100 or 2.
Right.
There's a lot of people we know. There's a lot of people we try to assist.
Right. Well, as I say, any NGO could reach out to NAMDEVCO. I mean, it's not going to be big amounts, but over a 4-month period, if you could impact, an NGO could impact 25 families at a time, and all of us will live and all of us will eat, and we'll run the program properly.
Any last words you would like to give the citizens of Trinidad concerning COVID-19?
I want to thank the farmers for tremendous work. I want to thank the country for the support. I understand the opposition. My colleagues in the parliament have their work to do, but I think that people know that when the Prime Minister and when our cabinet and we're doing something, we do something in the best interest of the country.
Thank you so much, Minister, for joining us tonight, and we will keep in touch. So be safe with you and the family.
Thank you.
So viewers, that was the Minister of Agriculture, and he's also the Minister of Government Business, also Mr. Clarence Rambarad. I know he has a virtual meeting in Parliament very shortly, and I do want to thank him publicly for taking the time to join us to clarify one or two issues that were in the public domain. So as we move on tonight, before I go further, I just want to let you all know, from Wednesday, viewers, Real Talk Studios will be giving away 1,000 pounds of cassavas. I am also looking for 1,000 pounds of watermelon. I hope somebody in the Mafeking area side, is the Mafeking area where there's planting watermelon? Right. Those of you who are up on that side planting watermelon, please give me a call at 339-1670. I am also looking for 1,000 pounds of watermelon. Viewers, from Wednesday, those of you that need something, a little cassava to cook with a little chicken or a little fish or something, you can come down to Real Talk Studios. We'll be here from 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, and we're giving away 1,000 pounds of cassava. So you can also contact me at 339-1670 for cassava giveaway. It's food. You can make cassava bread, cassava dumpling. You can make pone. You could do cassava and duck, cassava and chicken, cassava and fish, cassava with saltfish and tomatoes. So viewers, from Wednesday we will be giving away 1,000 pounds of cassava. We are located on Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. We're next door to Bagan's Drugstore. I could pick up Bagan's Drugstore tonight. So we're right next door to them in the brown 3-story glass front building, the opposite Rugby office. You can't miss it. So come Wednesday from 10 a.m. we're giving away 1,000 pounds of cassava, and if I could get some watermelon from the guys up in Manzalina up there who plant the watermelon and are looking for 1,000 pounds, please get in touch with me tomorrow, 339-1670. So for Wednesday viewers, you want cassava, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy. Just come down to our studio. We'll be in the car park, and we're giving away 10 pounds per family or per person. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. Cassava is about $4 or $5 a pound now, and we're just giving it away to the public. It's a time for giving. Everybody needs something to eat, and we're giving out something, viewers. So as we start off our program tonight, again, call a good night.
Good night. Saeed.
Yes, sir.
What Rambarad is doing, I'm glad. But what he's doing to other people is detrimental. A pound cabbage this weekend in the market is $15. Tomatoes is $20. Baigan is $20 per pound. A handful of body, $10. I mean, the people who get in is okay, I'm happy for them, but what about the people who buy these things? The kind of thing, because you can't get the buying everything, and the people who have will jack up the prices.
I understand what you're saying. In the market, it is becoming more hard in the market to get your vegetables.
The price of vegetables is ridiculous. It's gone sky. People can't afford to buy that.
I understand what you're saying. And thanks for sharing your views, my friend. You see now, I understand what he's saying. But in a situation like this, it have a give and a take. It have a give and a take. The farmers are getting their produce sell to the ministry. And in return now, the ministry is giving it out back free to individuals in the community that cannot afford. So there will be a little mishap. And there will be a price increase in the market because the ministry is buying out from over 100 and something farmers. I understand what is taking place there. Caller, good night. Hello?
Hello.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Yeah, man, let's put it in a fantastic job, man. Keep up the good work. God be with you.
Hello, you there? Oh, thank you, my friend. So, viewers, hear this now. I would love this. Attorney General Faraz Arawi have stated that there is a serious vaccine train heading to TNT and declared we will come out of this pandemic. He stated that the government is planning for the country post-COVID-19 and artists should be looking forward to the future. Al-Rawi added, next carnival is going to be the mother of all carnival. Good days are ahead of us and I am trying and I am very hopeful about it. He added that claims of not having the money to afford vaccine was untrue as the government has been in talks to ensure vaccine are acquired. So now viewers, we took a loan for $204 million US to purchase vaccine to vaccinate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what the loan was for. That is what the loan was for. So our Prime Minister is in talks for CARICOM to receive a little over 6 million vaccine courtesy Joe Biden, the American president. So this is how Mr. Faris now gets up on the carnival horse now and said 2022, allegedly saying then, not the exact words, but allegedly saying that the mother of all carnival will be in 2022. Caller, good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I'm calling concerning this press conference they had on Saturday. I was listening to it and it was real disturbing now because of the fact that I was listening to how the Prime Minister talking about the so-called testing drug they call it a vaccine where they want to purchase for everybody to take and whatever and thing, right? And I listened to the man words carefully and the man is completely putting the vaccinated people on one side and separating the unvaccinated people on the other side, He's saying, he clearly states that if you are not vaccinated, therefore, you are going to be somebody who is dangerous to the public and you could be a super spreader. No, my question is the Prime Minister vaccinated?
No, he's not vaccinated.
Right. No. One question I want to find out. If they're saying that this vaccine that they're giving people is going, and clearly state, the Prime Minister clearly state that this vaccine, it will be more difficult for a vaccinated person to get the virus, right? That is what he stated in the media conference. I want to find out if it is harder for somebody vaccinated to get the virus. Why are they so afraid of the unvaccinated population?
I understand what you're saying.
My next point, right? Everybody coming on landlords and telling them to have a heart for the tenants and things. I want to ask one question. I want to find out if Faris Al-Rawi and all the family that renting all them big buildings to these people, the citizens of Trinidad today, with taxpayers who paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars a month for the building. I want to know if them have a heart to tell the taxpayers and them, here, well, let's take 3 months without rent for me, please now. Or take 6 months, seeing us how we in hard times. I want to know if they just sit down and rock back and collecting the hundreds and hundreds of thousands every month. And then the poor people who work and put on 2 little apartments in the back of the house.
Yes.
They get well, they have a heart for the tenants now. People who only income in this life is the tenant rent with they gain. I want to know how fair the game is. On one side, they're telling you to do something. On the other side, they're milking the country. That is what I want to.
I understand what you're saying. Even this this big mall, good up Val, saying where True Value is up there. No. Up the highway. Up by the airport up there. Trin City Mall. Remember when thank you for raising the point, my friend. Remember when in Trin City Mall, the people who are rented from Trin City Mall, even they ask for the government to step in so that their rent could be waived. Remember the government set their hands tied behind their backs? I remember that. Because my team and I went up there to do some interviews. So now, viewers, with the Attorney General saying 2022 will be the mother of all carnivals, he also said this. This as soca artists will be given priority to travel abroad for international carnival events. Al-Rawi, however, warned that while there may be good news, the public still needs to be vigilant. So, since last year to now, the public have been vigilant. We have been on lockdown for almost 2 months now, 3 weeks. Plus the 6 weeks that are coming up. Almost 2 months in our lockdown, home. But yet the virus keeps spreading. It keeps multiplying. The deaths keep multiplying. So I want to know, is the lockdown spreading the COVID-19? This is what I want to know. Traveling. There are now plans to reopen TNT borders within a couple of weeks after it has been closed for almost 15 months. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated that while no decision have been taken as yet, it was the government position to put an end to the border closure arrangement and the exemption system. The PM added that he looked forward to the day when nobody would have to ask permission to come home, but may qualify to return under certain circumstances.
In the coming days, probably on Tuesday, the team, health, and other relevant personnel would meet with Caribbean Airlines because it's the government's position that within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we would do away with the border closure arrangement and the exemption system, because as we vaccinate and as vaccination has been accelerated in North America in particular, the situation is different now. The populations of North America and the Caribbean can now more easily mix, and we are better able to manage people coming into the country, and I look forward to the day when nobody will have to ask permission to come home, but you qualify to get in under certain circumstances which are your responsibility and not for the government to tell you yea or nay.
Now, viewers, he also noted that one of the requirements for entry would be vaccination, and there would be controls on categorizations of people and conditions. He further information will be available by the end of next week.
Details will come to you in the next few days. By the end of next week, you will get the clear details as to what the open airport would mean, and Caribbean Airlines would begin to fly scheduled flights, and persons coming into the country should be of the same ilk as those who are coming to us from outside, as us going out. But there will be controls, and there will be categorization of your condition. I say no more on that today, except to indicate that we are close to the point of removing the exemption border closure arrangement.
Caller, good night.
Good night, Saieed, to you and all your listeners. But before I forget, I'm coming down from Cassava tomorrow, you know. All right.
Wednesday morning.
All right, of course, I jump in the table. Okay, all right. Let me start back now. I hear the prophet prophesizing Carnival 2022, but I want him to tell us the number that will die before mass vaccination. You know, we at a number 589, and all you figure I am a Obia man. I tell all you this 666. We look like we're going to surpass that. So, the Prime Minister and the Attorney General and Terence the Terrible must tell us, give us a number which is collateral damage. Because people are dying.
Correct.
And people are dying, and we have to ask the state. The state is responsible for mitigating the effect of COVID-19. If we are number one, they must prove that they are number one by coming in front of an inquiry to tell us everything they have done. Because if you are number one, you have nothing to hide.
True.
If number one give you 589, that could go on to 1,000. Consider how frightening it is. If I estimate 5 dying per day for the next 30 days, that will take us to the first week of July, when they bring in all of that free vaccine from Biden, right? That is 150 person again.
Yes.
150 plus 589. How much that is? That is 684 people. That is frightening. And who is responsible for that? Why didn't we do the necessary requisite push to get the vaccine? Why didn't we beg Moody, if you had to lick to get vaccine to protect the elders? 90% of the elders are the person who are falling like flies. Apologize to say that because they don't care. Now, the other question I'm going to answer it for you. If the curfew is responsible for the rise in deaths and the rise in things, yes, and it's simple, because what they have done, they basically facilitate cluster spread. Because when in your home and one person have it, everybody in that household could potentially have it, and they're not sending the requisite health professionals to check them to see if they have COVID, to isolate them. And a lot of people dying home.
Yes.
A lot of people dying in the tents. So that is why we need the Commission of Inquiry to tell us how they have basically been fraudulent. All over the world, in Parliament in England, the health ministers have to account. And Terence the Terrible had to have a bigger forehead now, you know. I don't want it to be 4 digits, because if he had to put 4 digits on the forehead, the forehead could be too small. I go and have a nice night.
Thank you, my friend. This is what I have been asking myself. Is the lockdown spreading the virus? Yes, it is spreading it to the members at home. If you have 5 people in your house and one person contact the COVID-19, or they come in contact with the COVID-19 virus, it will spread in the household. So you will have now a multiple rise in COVID-19 cases. Why? Because they are not The Ministry of Health is not putting you aside. They are not putting you aside. They are allowing you to stay with your family so the family will be able to come in contact with a COVID-19 patient. What happened to all these schools that is not in use? What happened to the schools that are not in use? What happened to all these thousands of HTC buildings that are not in use? It is starting now that where individuals are dying at home without going to the hospital. It has become severe now that in your house you are dying. 3 weeks after a state of emergency, a weekend curfew have now been applied for the month of June. In announcing this, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley urged persons to put weekend parties and limes on hold.
So I want to ask you all to postpone the expected weekend mixing and the weekend automatic partying and the weekend automatic liming. Let us do a bit more, because we did behave very well, I must say, in the last 2 holidays, Monday and Thursday, and we expect that those 2 periods would contribute to the graph that we'll see sometime soon. But come Friday evening, we would not like this situation to change much. So you work, and we like the curfew on Friday evening to begin at 7 p.m. until Saturday morning at 5 o'clock. 7 to 5 Friday evening. And you come out on Saturday, and as you come out, please don't come out to congregate. Come out for emergencies and essentials only. 7 p.m., the curfew starts again, Saturday evening to Sunday morning at 5. And then you have your Sunday again doing whatever is essential. And the curfew starts again at 7 till 5 a.m. Monday morning. And that is how, as of now, it will be for the month of June.
So now, viewers, while he commend the public for adhering to the Monday and the Thursday holiday, the PM further noted that persons are now being asked to vaccinate to operate, which they will be doing in a categories.
It is our intention to vaccinate and operate. Going forward from next week, you will be encouraged to vaccinate and operate. And in order to do that, the Ministry of Health will have specific programs interfacing with the private sector. And this is where the private sector could play a major role, especially since you have now, I hope by now I've convinced you that you have no role yet in vaccine supply. You can play a major role in getting your staff vaccinated. And what we're going to do is put this by categories.
Now, viewers, well, we heard from the Supermarket Association that they are in the process of starting their vaccination also, and the construction and manufacturing sector to get their staff vaccinated also.
You will have heard the Minister of Health saying that we are working with the Supermarket Association to get their staff and their associates vaccinated. We'll do the same thing with the construction sector. You will get more information in the next few days. In anticipation that construction could restart the following week, and the staff directly involved in construction would be a targeted staff for vaccination. Special efforts would be made to make vaccination available to those workers who are involved in the construction sector. And of course, those people who have export orders, we know who you are because you have made a representation. Those people who have export orders in the manufacturing sector, we will grant exemptions to vaccinate and operate and export. And of course, we will preserve those markets that or orders that we are about to lose. And that is all part of living with the virus and not dying from the virus while livelihoods are preserved, while life is preserved.
Now, viewers, he stated that through bilateral talks, the government arranged to buy vaccine directly from China and made a payment recently to the African Medical Supply Platform.
Since I spoke to you last when I told you that we've made 2 substantial payments, those 2 payments, one was those arrangements were being made to get a further significant shipment from China that has been formalized, and I'm advised by the ministers who are following that on a day-to-day basis that next week, Thursday, we should have a significant shipment from China. It's going to be more than we had the last time. And of course, most satisfying is that we have made the payment as required into the African Medical Supply Platform.
Now, viewers, so we have shipment coming from China, shipment coming from the American Medical Supply Platform. We also have a significant amount of Sinopharm vaccine coming in the country on Thursday. Now, the PM added that the level of CARICOM, TNT, will receive 800,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson 1-dose vaccine. The first batch is expected to arrive in August.
We are now advised, having made our payment last week, that we are in line to get 800,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson 1-dose vaccine. That has changed the picture completely with respect to how many persons as against how many doses. Because the doses I mentioned a while ago, 180,000, if you have to use that for 2 doses, you can only completely vaccinate half that number of people, 140,000, thereabouts. But the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, being a one-shot vaccine, 800,000 there mean 800,000 people. And that is, we are anticipating the arrival of the first batch of that vaccine in August.
Now, viewers, he further stated that the target is 500,000 persons in this country in order to accelerate our vaccination program.
But it means that this is not the beginning of the end. It probably, if I may quote the famous Winston Churchill statement, is the end of the beginning. But we can now confidently say that we have a vaccination program that by the next 12 weeks, June, July, August, within 12 weeks, depending on the shipping arrangements, we would be able to vaccinate a substantial amount of people. Our first target is 500,000 people in this country. And based on the irons we have in the fire, we can now, as I mentioned last week, begin to accelerate our vaccination program because we can say we have vaccines for an accelerated program.
So hopefully, viewers, by August, we should have at least, if they cater in Johnson & Johnson 800, that's 800,000 people 1 dose, plus maybe the little 200,000 or 250,000 here and there. So we should have over 500,000 people vaccinated by August, which is a vast amount of people. So viewers, moving along now, PSB is investigating a 22-year-old man reported to the police on Saturday that he was sexually assaulted by a police officer and a woman. Sexually assaulted, So viewers, nevertheless, we are out of time for tonight. There's a picture of the individual, the officer. There's a picture there, viewers. An officer engaged in these kind of things. Just imagine that. Where are some of the officers in TSCTP heading? Where are they going? But nevertheless, a discussion for another night. So until we meet again, viewers, be safe, enjoy the night, wear your mask, sanitize, and get vaccinated. Good night.